Good morning, children. Today we will be starting with the second chapter in mathematics, linear equations in one variable. Yes, children. Now, what is algebra? Algebra is also a branch of mathematics, okay? Now, instead of 5, I will represent 5 with a variable x. So many numbers are there, right? There are so many numbers in our number system. So, I will represent those numbers with one variable. Variable is nothing but alphabets, correct? Such as x, y, z, m, n, whatever you want. So, what do? I generalize it. In general, I give a common name to it. So that grouping of that set in a whole family of set of numbers is called as algebra, okay? A branch of mathematics in which symbols such as letters of the alphabet are used to represent numbers or members of a particular or a specified set. They are all the members of a particular set. The variables that we use are all the members of a particular set. It expresses a general relationship that holds good for all the members of the set. So this is called as algebra. Now, what are constants? Now children, when I look at the example, x plus 5 is equal to 9, correct? So the numbers 5 and 9 are called as constants. That means the value doesn't change. Can I put 6 is equal to 5? No. Can I put 7 is equal to 5? No. How 7 and 5 can be equal? So therefore they do not vary and they are called as constants. It is a fixed value. In algebra, a constant is a number on its own. It does not depend on any other number. A letter such as A, B or C to stand for a fixed number. Example, in x plus 5 is equal to 9, 5 and 9 are constants. Now, what are variables? A variable is a symbol that represents an unknown number. Okay, so if I take x can take any value. X can take the value of 2, x can take the value of 3, x can take the value of 4. So whatever value I put for x, it takes that particular value. That means x varies. So therefore a variable is a symbol that represents an unknown number. We do not know what number it is. So that represents an unknown number. It will be equal to a number, but you do not know what that number is yet. Until you figure it out, you use the symbol. Symbols can be anything, x, y, z, m, n, okay? All these alphabets that we use are generalized to be variables. The variable we most often see is x, but a variable can really be any letter or symbol that doesn't otherwise have a number associated with it, okay? So whatever number we take, we put in that variable takes that value. So if I put value 5 in variable x, so x takes the value 5. If I put value 10 in variable y takes the value of 10. So these are called as varying quantities. The term itself says it varies, so they are called as variables. Now, what are coefficient, children? See, now example 4x square y, correct? Now, with this variable, right, before there is some number. So, that number is called as the coefficient. The number along with the variable of the term is called as its coefficient. So, here 4 is the coefficient of x square y. Now, in the next number 78xy square z, what is the coefficient? The coefficient is 78. Why? Because it is a number which is along with the variable xy square z. Okay. Now, what is an equation or an algebraic equation? An equation is a statement of equality which contains one or more unknown quantities or variable or variables. An equation consists a sign equal to. The left side of the equation is called as the left hand side or LHS, and the right hand side of the equation is called as the right hand side or RHS. Okay, so therefore an equation is nothing but it is a statement which says this LHS is equal to RHS. So that is called as an equation. Anything that I equate it to some number is called as an equation. An algebraic equation may include variables and constants or symbols and constants. Here 4x plus 9 is equal to 0, correct? Here the quantities on the left hand side are called as LHS. That is, what is LHS here? 4x plus 9, because it is before equal to sign. On my left hand side, before equal to is 4x plus 9. So this 4x plus 9 is called as my LHS, or the left hand side. Whereas after equal to, I have something called as 0. So 0 is on the right hand side of my equal to, and that is called as RHS. So this 4x plus 9 is LHS and 0 is RHS. Now, what do you mean by algebraic expressions? An algebraic expression is a mathematical expression that consists of variables, numbers, and operations. Okay, so it consists what? Of variables, numbers, and operations. Now, what do you mean by these operations, children? Operations such as plus, minus, multiplication and division. All these operations along with variables and constants constitute something called as algebraic equations or algebraic expressions. Now, there are several types of algebraic expressions. The first type is called as the monomial. Mono means single, correct? An algebraic expression that contains only one term is called as a monomial. One term means, see here, 6x, correct? Does it have one more term with it? Like plus 3y? No. So 6x is a single term. So that is called as a monomial. 9y, single term. Minus 6b, single. 3xy, again single. It does not have any sign to separate it, correct? See, if you may say, ma'am, minus 6b has a sign. Yes, but minus 6b, it is minus 6 into b. So it is minus 6b. You don't have minus 6b minus 10b. No, right? If minus 6b minus 10b was there, then it would be the next term that is called as the binomial term. An algebraic expression that contains two terms is called as a binomial. 5x plus 7y. See children, plus and minus act as a separating factor for my algebraic equation. Okay, so it separates the terms. Okay, see here, now 5x is one term, 7y is one more term. There is a plus in between. That's why I say 7x plus 5 is a binomial term, because there are two terms which are separated by a sign. Okay, so this is called as a binomial expression. Similarly, 89 minus 4b square c. 89 is one term and 4b square c is another term. So therefore I say that 89 minus 4b square c is a binomial expression, because two terms are separated by a minus sign. 2 stands for binomial, correct? Now trinomial means three terms. Okay, so see here, 5b square is one term, 9b is one term, and 3 is one term. So 5b square plus, see, separated again, 9b minus, again separated, 3. Correct? So 5b square is one term, 9b is one term, and 3 is one term. So 3 terms in an equation is called as a trinomial. Now, what is this quadrinomial? Quadrinomial means, quadra means 4. So an algebraic expression which has 4 terms is called as a quadrinomial. See children, so 8x cube is one term, 4x square is one term, 7x is one term, and 7 is one term. Always remember, plus and minus separates the terms. Similarly, we have multinomial. Multinomial means so many multiple terms together are called as multinomial terms. An algebraic expression that contains 2 or more terms is called as a multinomial term. Example, 66y raised to 4 plus 4y cube minus 6y square plus 7y minus 6. Now, finally, polynomial, a number that contains, or an expression, an algebraic expression that contains n number of terms is called as a polynomial. Countless number of terms it can have. Okay, or see, any any algebraic expression which has more than two numbers is called as a polynomial. Okay, which has more than two terms is called as a polynomial. Okay, so what if it has three terms? Is it still called polynomial? Yes, it is called a trinomial as well as a polynomial. You cannot define how many terms a polynomial can have. It can have n number of terms in it. Now let us come to linear equation in one variable after knowing all the basics. Now when I see linear, okay, linear means the highest power of the variable occurring in the expression is 1, and that too only in one variable. What do you mean by this? Now see children, I have an example. 5x plus 2 is equal to 0, correct? Now what is a variable here? Variable is x. Now, what is the highest power of x? Highest power means x is raised to what? X is raised to 1. So, the highest power is 1. So, this means x is linear, okay? Whenever I have an expression, if the value of the power of the variable is raised to 1, the highest power is 1, then I say it is a linear equation in one variable, okay? Therefore, the highest power of the variable x occurring in equation is 1. Hence, it is called as a linear equation in one variable. Now, what do you mean by transpose? If left hand side term goes to RHS or right hand side term goes to LHS, then the term remains the same but the sign will change. That is, addition changes to subtraction, subtraction changes to addition, multiplication changes to division, and division changes to multiplication. LHS goes to RHS, RHS goes to LHS, but signs will change. If my RHS has a positive sign, when it will go to LHS, it will become a negative sign. If my LHS has a negative sign, if it will go to my RHS, it will become positive sign. So therefore it will become its inverse, we can say. That is called as transpose. Now, how do you solve linear equation in one variable? First, the value of the variable for which LHS is equal to RHS is called as the solution of linear equation. To find the solution of the linear equation, we find that the two sides of the equation should be balanced. That means whatever equation you solve, you will get one answer. Okay, you have to substitute that answer in the given equation and check if my LHS is same as my RHS. If LHS is same as RHS, then the solution is valid. Let us check now. So solving equations which have linear expressions on one side and numbers on the other side. Okay, so I am solving what? Linear expressions which have linear expressions on one side and numbers on the other side. Okay, so let 4x plus 2 is equal to 3 be an equation. I have taken one equation, 4x plus 2 is equal to 3. Step 1, what do? We keep all the variables on one side of the equation, that is LHS, and transpose all the constants to the other side of the equation, that is RHS. Correct? Therefore, I kept 4x as it is, plus 2 I took it to the other side, it became minus 2. So therefore, 4x is equal to 3 minus 2. Therefore, on transpose, the equation takes the form 4x is equal to 3 minus 2. Now, what is the second step? Now children, after you do this, okay, now in the previous step when I saw, okay, it showed me that 4x is equal to 3 minus 2. Now what I'll do? What is the coefficient of x? Coefficient of x is 4, correct? Coefficient means what? The number that is before the variable is called as its coefficient. So I will divide the coefficient of x on my LHS and my RHS. Okay, so therefore 4x I will divide it by 4 is equal to 3 by 4 minus 2 by 4. Now when I see, how do I solve this? So 4 and 4 will get cancelled. In my left hand side I have only x. X is equal to, see here, 3 by 4 minus 2 by 4 are like fractions. So I keep the denominator 4 as it is, subtract my numerators 3 minus 2. So 3 minus 2 is nothing but 1. 1 by 4 is nothing but my x. So I got my solution, x is equal to 1 by 4. Now what I will do, the next step is, finally we check the solution by substituting it in LHS and checking whether RHS is obtained or not by doing so. Okay, so I got my solution, x is equal to 1 by 4 in the previous step. How do I know if it is correct? I have to verify it. So verification, substitute x is equal to 1 by 4 in the given equation. We know that the given equation was what? First equation, 4x plus 2 is equal to 3. Now instead of x, I will substitute 1 by 4 and check if LHS is equal to RHS. If LHS is equal to RHS, then my solution is verified. So we know that x is equal to 1 by 4. Substitute that in the first given equation. 4 into 1 by 4 plus 2 is equal to 3. So 4 and 4 will get cancelled. 1 plus 2 is equal to 3. 3 is equal to 3. Left hand side is equal to right hand side. Step 4. If my left hand side is equal to my right hand side, then the solution is valid. If not, reject the solution or the solution is invalid. As left hand side is equal to right hand side in the previous problem, therefore the solution is valid. Hence the proof. So therefore, in my previous problem, I saw that my left hand side was same as my right hand side, correct? So therefore my solution is valid. If I don't get left hand side to be same as my right hand side, then the solution is invalid. I hope you have understood this, children.